Good morning, dear chairman and members of jury. My name is Makarova Polina. I'm a first-year student of the pediatric faculty. I'd like to present you the outcomes of my research, the effect of physical training on hand press state and muscle fatigue. I start my speech with the relevance of the topic. Nowadays, the problem of reducing physical activity among adolescents is very actual. Is due to changes in environmental, economic, social conditions. At present, computerization plays an important role, leading to a decrease in activity during the day. Today, only 10% of young people do sports regularly. These factors lead to the development of deviations, such as postural disorders, vision disorders, increased blood pressure, overweight. Because of these factors, the diseases of the cardiovascular and respiratory systems and metabolic disorders arise. While studying at the school or university, a variety of information increases, the visual apparatus is overstrained, physical inactivity occurs, which leads to a decrease in physical capabilities. Maintaining the health of young generation is extremely important. So, the purpose of our research is to study the hand state and muscle fatigue depending on gender, age, physical activity. 104 people aged between 12 and 18 years old were involved in our study. 43% of them do sports regularly, 57% of these people don't do it. A questionnaire was developed to determine the level of physical activity. We studied the hand state and muscle fatigue by performing static and repetitive isometric contractions using a manual dynamometer. The experiment was carried out in the first half of the day, after breakfast, in a quiet environment. The dynamometer was compressed and held as much as possible. Then the subject was restored for 5 minutes, after which, in an identical position of the body, the dynamometer was either maximally compressed or unclashed for 60 seconds. The data obtained during the experiment were analyzed using the Logger Pro program with Werner LabQuest computer interface. On this slide, you can see indicators of muscle activity during the performance of different types of work among trainees and non-trainees. From this table, we can reveal that trained people are much stronger and get tired at a lesser extent in contrast to non-trained ones. Since their muscles are dominated by red fibers that can be in tension for a long time, it's found that there is a tendency in increasing in the state and endurance, mainly in boys of different age groups, regardless of their training. The reason of it is the active production of testosterone in boys, but estrogens in girls. It's important to note that during static work, fatigue occurs earlier, but we can determine the maximum state of a person. With dynamic work, fatigue occurs later, due to the alternation of rest and work, so it's more efficient. Look at this graph, please. You can see that fast, intermediate, and slow muscle fibers are equally involved in muscle contraction in the first 15 seconds. At 16 seconds, there is a reduction corresponding to predominance of intermediate and slow fibers. At 40 seconds, only slow muscle fibers are active. With fatigue, the state in each motor muscle decreases due to a reduction in RTF resources. Redistribution of calcium ions occurs. To continue the efficient performance work, motor units is synchronized and it results in tremor. Coming to the end, I'd like to tell that according to the data presented, it can be concluded that fatigue occurs due to the fact that individual muscle fibers are able to respond to the stimuli to the fullest. We observed the number of contracting fibers decreased. During the static work, fatigue occurs earlier, since the effect of the stimulus is continuous. There is a simultaneous contraction of all muscles. In dynamic work, fatigue occurs later due to the alternation of rest and work. Fast, intermediate, and slow muscle fibers are equally involved in muscle contraction, closer to 60 seconds. Slow muscle fibers begin to predominate it and the tremor starts. Among trained students, the straight indicators are much higher in contrast to non-trained ones. However, trains get tired more slowly than non-trains. Thus, leading an active lifestyle, many young people save their health, which is undoubtedly very important these days. In the future, we will go on studying the strength and fatigue of other muscle groups. We want to find the relationship between physical activity and mental abilities of students. Thank you for your attention.